So warm welcome after that short commercial break. This is myself, RJ Raman, every Sundays 2 till 4 on the RJ Raman Show on Akash Radio 1323 AM Leeds. Once again, it's going to be a massive show today because like every Sundays, I'm always in conversation with some fresh talent, fresh artists, and also legendary artists and producers as well. So like every Sundays, I've got a very interesting producer here. Massive name in the music scene, massive contribution in the music industry worldwide. He's recognized as a very iconic, I would say, inspiration. I'm lost to words, this is a producer who I've actually grown up listening to from my childhood and high school days. And it's an absolute pleasure that I've got him for the third time. He's broken all the records because I've had various artists on this show, and this is the third time he's coming on the show once again. And he's the man himself who has brought various kind of music, from reggae to techno to qawwali to reggae rock, whatever you name it, he has done it. And this is the man himself who has given various kind of music. He's worked with various artists from both nations, India and Pakistan, and I would say he is a producer on his own kind of category, people. He's not in any competition. He's only in competition with himself, and he's the man himself who I've grown up listening to when he was the co-producer, the main producer of the greatest legendary band, the Sahotas. And it's an absolute pleasure that I've got him once again. I'm introducing you the massive name and a massive contribution to Bhangra music, and now in the world of Punjabi cinema. I'm talking the man himself, Mukhtar Sahota. Massive name, and it's an absolute pleasure that I've got him on the show today to talk about his latest recent project, what he's worked on, a music production on the Punjabi cinema revolutionary movie, I would say, Ishq, My Religion. I've been hearing about this movie for the past few years now, and it's finally released in a cinema near to you, and the songs have been out there. It's getting worldwide love and support. It's getting shared on social media, and positive comments are coming, in fact, on the music, because he's got a massive lineup of artists on here. So to talk about this, we've got him here to talk about all the artists he's got worked with in the album, and just in generally himself as a music producer and his vision of Punjabi and Hindi music. So a warm welcome on the show, Mukhtar. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Raman, how are you?
All good, fantastic. Mukhtar, I've had many artists and producers coming on the show, and to be honest, you've broken all the records. The third time I'm having you on the show. How are you feeling about it?
Well, it's a pleasure. I'm honoured that you've had me on so often on your show. So
fantastic. Yeah. Lovely. It's always a pleasure. It's always an honour. It's always an honour for myself as well, because I've seen you as a legend, I would say, in the music scene. So so we had a last conversation on Electro Mezza, massive tune, still gets played as well on the show as well. And a lot of things have changed. You're back with one of the biggest projects you worked on so far, Ishq, My Religion. Tell us a bit about this project, how this actually started off from.
Yeah, this project has been going on for about 2 years or so now. And then, Gurdeep Dillon, who's produced and directed the movie, he contacted me, to do the music for this movie. I've worked with him previously on James Bond as well, so he was really pleased and overjoyed with the work that I did on that movie. So he said, he wanted to, at least have the entire soundtrack done on Ishq, My Religion from myself. So which I was really pleased to do and be a part of. That's how it all started in the beginning stage, and then he went through the storyline with me and what kind of movie it's going to be. Gave me the title. I was really pleased with the title. For instance, Ishq, My Religion. I thought it says a lot in just the titles, as well. For a movie, because I wasn't really fond of James Bond as a title. It was. It was a bit cheesy, to be honest. But,
it is a bit of a different statement.
Yeah. So straight away when he said, "Oh, Ishq, My Religion," you kind of get a bit of a vision already in your mind, and then once he explained the whole storyline and everything, I kind of got a gist of which direction I was going to take the music as well. So yeah.
So, I mean, when you actually, heard the actual title, Ishq My Religion, what was the first thing what came in your head at the time when you...
Yeah, the first thing that came into my head was like, okay, this is going to be on a grand scale. You know, this movie is going to be obviously a lot different to what the other Punjabi movies are doing. So I knew straight away that, there's going to be something different happening in this movie, rather than the usual comedy kind of type of Punjabi movies that are out there. So that was my first thought, that, obviously this is going to be something totally different, and it's going to be quality, it's going to be, like a meaningful story. That's the kind of visions I had from just the title.
Fantastic. I mean, I was kind of amazed when I saw the actual trailer of the movie as well. I mean, it's completely revolutionizing Punjabi cinema, completely different kind of look.
Yeah.
Complete different concept. And on top, the music itself is completely different as well compared to what we listen to nowadays in Punjabi cinema. I mean, practically, I mean, I've heard all the tracks, and mentioning Chori Chori, I mean, amazing. I would say greatest composition so far in Punjabi movie. I mean, tell us a bit about this track. How starting from the start of planning the track and working on it. Just tell us a bit about this.
Yeah, Chori Chori. I was given the scenario of how it's going to be shot and what kind of a look it's going to have, and what the actors are going to be doing and stuff.
Yeah.
So and then once I have that part of the storyboard, that's when I start to, putting what in musical terms we like put a little scratch together.
Yeah.
And that's how it kind of develops. And I was given, like I said, the storyboard, and it was like an acoustic type of song that they wanted. So a lot of acoustic guitars and mellow and more of a feel. More so than it being sort of, like it wasn't a dance track as such or anything in that nature. So that was basically the brief that I was given, and that's how I started composing the track as well. So very guitar based, acoustic guitars and stuff, and then we started getting the singers involved in on it, as in who we were going to pick to actually sing the song.
Yeah.
And like you've heard, it's Sunidhi Chauhan and Sonu Nigam, and it's the first time they're singing a Punjabi song together. And it's the first time for Sonu Nigam to be singing a Punjabi song in a Punjabi movie as well. So it was a great experience all round, really, because it was a kind of a first for all three of us, to be honest, to be working together, and then for them to be, involved in a Punjabi movie.
Fantastic. I mean, how was the experience actually working with, like, Sonu Nigam, you mentioned, massive name, in the music. And Sunidhi Chauhan as well. How was that experience working alongside them? Was it quite different compared to how you worked with previous artists?
It's always a pleasure working with, these playback singers, especially from Bombay, like, the likes of Sunidhi Chauhan and Sonu Nigam.
Yeah.
They're very professional. They come to the studio. They get on with it. They know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
You don't really need to explain too much about the song or anything. All they want to do is, let's listen to the scratch version. They get the gist of it, and they just go in the studio and do a fantastic job. And very rarely do you have to say to them, that maybe we should change this, or maybe if you can sing this slightly differently. You don't really need to go into all that, because these guys, deliver every time.
Fantastic. I mean, talking about the production side of work, I mean, was the actual music being produced all in the UK, or did you have to make any visits to India as well also?
No, everything's produced here in the UK. And what it is, I can travel. I used to travel around a lot back in the day, working with different singers and going to Canada and all kind of places and stuff, do recording and stuff.
Yeah.
But now, especially with technology, you don't really need to be traveling around. We have a live link up, a video link up as well, so I can see them recording in the studio and stuff. So it's pretty much like I'm sitting there in the studio anyway. So and the fact that it's for me, I'm more comfortable working from my own studio at home, and I can do it in my own leisure and not have to be restricted to certain time constraints or anything.
Yeah. Wow, fantastic. So, I mean, you've got a huge lineup of artists. I mean, taken from, talking about Arif Lahar, coming on to Noora Sisters, Sonu Nigam, Sunil Jahan, then Raaz Fateh Ali Khan, Mika Singh, is endless. So it's kind of a very epical moment listening to all these iconic names in your music. I mean, tell us, how was that feeling working with all them artists? Tell us a bit about this.
No, I mean it's a great feeling that to be able to work with big names in the industry. It's basically, we've kind of put a list together of singers that once I'd got all the basic tracks ready, we put a list together of what kind of singers we wanted to use and whatnot, and we were very lucky to be able to use all the singers that we had, like in plan A. We had a plan B as well, but we didn't really need to go to plan B.
Right.
So we were really fortunate that we got to use all the singers that we wanted to use. And it's a great experience for me as well, because working with different singers and from different backgrounds and whatnot, there's always something to learn, and it's an experience really. The whole working with different artists.
Wow, fabulous. I mean, I want to mention a track, Long Wacha Reply. I mean, that track is very different. I mean, I remember the Balisagu version. It was a massive hit back in the days. I mean, tell about this track as well. I mean, this is supposed to be some form like a response to the original, I would say.
Yeah, it's kind of like a reply. I mean, that song's, it's a classic. And, she lost her long in the original. And basically in this one, he's saying, well, look, I found it. There you go. Here's your long that you've been looking for so many years.
And you finally found it.
Yeah. It's a really fun kind of dance track that Gulzib, the director, wanted in the movie, and it works in the movie itself as well. It kind of really picks up the scene in the film.
Wow, I mean, you've got Mika Singh on the vocals. I mean, tell us, why Mika Singh on this one?
Yeah, Mika Singh, we thought we needed, obviously, strong, powerful sort of Punjabi voice, and we played him the track, and he was really excited, and I was speaking to him over the phone and stuff, and he was just talking about the old days and the Sahotas and the band and everything, and he was like, really excited to be part of the project as well himself. He goes, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of rhythm. He really liked, Hasogia, that kind of the songs that we released in the past, and he says he's looking forward to being a part of that as well. So it was really nice, sort of linking up with him.
Fantastic. I mean, you mentioned the Sahotas, the golden era of the 90s. I mean, we get a lot of people requesting songs from that era of your music, and till now as well. And it's always a question. Every person asks us, when will Sahotas do a reunion concert? When will that happen?
Yeah, see, I get this question all the time. As you could imagine, on social media, I'm bombarded with it all the time, and it's not even just UK. The amount of requests we get from India alone is just incredible. And like I always said, I think when the time is right, I'm sure it will happen. But I think when the time is right, it will definitely happen.
I mean, you must have noticed, on social media as well, now the old school kind of, the daytimers are coming back in the trend now. I mean, a lot of the bands back in the days are kind of coming forward, kind of to bring that kind of retro kind of feel. So we get a lot of people asking that, we've seen Hira and Alaa, but when's Sahota's coming now? So it's always a question.
Yeah, that's always a question, and I mean, even after so many years, I still get that same question, and it's so nice. It's so nice that people, remember the band in that way, and have that, it's a nostalgic thing. People have got their own sort of personal attachments to certain songs and stuff, and as we all do, like when we're growing up, there's certain songs that just take you right back to your childhood and stuff.
Oh,
and
definitely.
it's one of them things, and it's such a good feeling that people have that attachment, and they are basically hungry for us to to come back on the scene, and but like I says, I'm sure it will happen.
Well, I actually remember, talking about, attachment you mentioned. I mean, I remember watching a family movie of mine, family wedding film, which was actually shot in India. And I think this was back in 2001, I think, or 2001. And Teri Meri Gal Badgi was the opening track of the actual wedding film. So that was quite iconic for us. So it's a UK track on a India-based wedding, so it was iconic for ourselves as well.
Because I think in 2001 it had just I think it had been released in India. So Teri Meri Gal Badgi was an absolutely a massive hit in India, and even today, I mean, like when I'm speaking to some actors or artists in India, and even some people that you don't expect to have to be familiar with like Sahota stuff, and they say, "Oh yeah, we remember Teri Meri Gal Badgi." It's really surprising that the impact that song made, because we didn't quite realise that it had made that impact in India. Even years after, we didn't, we were kind of unaware of it. We knew it did well in India, but not to the extent that it did. And it's great. It's great feeling.
Fantastic. Golden memories of the 90s. So, Mukhtar, I mean, coming back to Ishq My Religion now, I mean, if we had to decide, of all the artists you've actually worked in this project, I mean, who would you pick as an artist that you've loved working with in this project, and why?
I think that's a hard question, really, because I kind of have the kind of same experience with all the artists that I've worked on in this movie. I think if you ask me, I think which track I enjoyed the most, I would say Ishq Diyan Peeran. I think that's the track I would say, and Rangi Gayi. Those two tracks, I mean, basically, I mean, I had a vision for them tracks in my head, and they came out exactly the way I wanted them to come out in audio form, and I think I was really, really happy with the outcome of them two tracks.
Fantastic. I mean, talking about the album itself, it's got a combination of each track. It's just got a different kind of vibe, different feel to it as well,
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's like it's like when I used to do albums back in the day. It used to be pretty much the same as well. They used to be, different genre tracks and different moods and whatnot. It was a bit of a. I mean, I always like to create a bit of a journey through an album. Not like, oh, here's a Tumbito track, and then the next one's pretty much the same, but the tempo's gone a bit faster, and then there's another one, in the same vein, but slightly adjusted. I find that a little bit boring, to be honest, and it's nice to kind of break it up and have a few twists and turns.
Fantastic. I mean, talking about your followers as well, Mukhtar, I mean, I'm always in conversation with some of your followers worldwide, globally. And we always talk amongst ourselves about music in generally, and, it always comes up with your name, and, we're always talking about the kind of fusion you brought Western beats into Punjabi music, which is very rare to hear in some music producers around us now. But being a music producer yourself, I mean, how critical are you with your own work?
I'm always critical. This is one of the things I think most music producers who are really passionate about what they do, or any even musician, will always be critical about their own work. I mean, even with Ishq My Religion, I was pretty much doing some final touches. I kept telling the director, "Look, hold on a second, let me just make a few adjustments." He couldn't get it. He couldn't get it get his head around it. He thinks that it's perfect the way it is and whatnot. I says, yeah, but it's just a few technical things that a few touch-ups here and there that I can hear, even when I listen back to some stuff that I've released in the past, and there's always stuff that I hear that I think, well, I could better that. But it comes a time where you just have to say, you have to stop at what you're doing and let the music get out there to the world and let people appreciate it, or not.
Well, I mean, technically, a lot of your fans do appreciate your music, even myself. So your music is fantastic.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
I mean, Mukhtar, we've heard a lot of music from you. I mean, various type of genre music. I mean, talking back in the 90s, the reggae music, techno, electro, qawwali, rock. I mean, you covered every single genre. And I mean, but since been last 5-6 years, your fans and myself have, we haven't actually nodded crazy on a rock song now. So when are we going to be listening to another rock song from Mukhtar Sahota?
Yeah, we've got kind of a ballad style rock song coming with Arif Lohar, which is Jugni Mast Kalandar. So so that should be releasing in the next week or so, 10 days or so. So yeah, I mean, I was only just shooting a video with Arif Lohar this week just gone. We had a great time at the video shoot, and we kind of, both of us are looking forward to releasing this track.
Fantastic. I mean, mentioning Arif Lohar, I mean, you've been working with him for a while now. I mean, you've worked with various other artists as well from both nations, India and Pakistan. I mean, have you got Mukhtar Sahota as well in Ishq My Religion as well?
I mean, like I mentioned earlier, Rangi Gaye is another great song from this film, and Mukhtar Sahota, absolutely fantastic vocalist, and I'm sure you'll be hearing more from him. Such a great talent. He was part of the competition in India where there was like Pakistani contestants, and there was the India contestants. And Nusrat Abbas was the main guy from the Pakistani crew, and then we had Diljan, who was from India, and he had his team and stuff. So this is where Nusrat Abbas comes from, and a lot of people, when you hear Rangi Gaye, when you hear him singing on that track, a lot of people were a bit confused whether it was Rahat Fateh Ali Khan. He's kind of in the same vein. But I just think he's a fantastic talent.
He certainly is, because now you've reminded me. I mean, I remember when he was in that music contest, his voice was kind of similar to Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Kind of a dialect, that kind of tone in his
That's voice. Right, And Rangi Gaye, the other thing I should mention is it's a Hindi song. It's not a Punjabi song.
Yeah.
And we've always seen our Punjabi songs in Bollywood, top Bollywood movies and stuff. Yeah. But we never kind of do Hindi songs in Punjabi films. And I thought, well, why not? I said to the director, why can't we put a Hindi song in a Punjabi movie? Because all our Punjabi people go to watch Hindi movies as well. It's not as though they don't understand Hindi. So and the thing is, sometimes you don't want to change the lyrics because it takes that away. The whole the feeling of the song. Yeah. It changes it when you start changing some of the lyrics. As we thought about, well, because the director was saying to me, can't we tell Nusrat to sing it again, and do it in Punjabi? And I said, well, I really like the way the song is going in Hindi, and I think when you start changing them words, it changes the dynamics of the track changes as well. So, and then I think he kind of understood where I was coming from, and the response we're having for the song, just from the audio release, is really good.
Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, you mentioned the lyrics. I mean, coming to Ishq My Religion, you've got Shami Jalandhari Saab again, once again, on the
Yeah,
lyrics as well, and various other
yeah.
lyricists as well. I mean, how much input did you have yourself selecting the tracks? You tell us a bit about that as well.
Yeah, see, with the film, the lyrics have to be, a certain way. They got to work with the storyline of the film.
Yeah.
So I don't interfere too much with the lyrical context. But musically, like I said, once everything's been explained to me, and the feel of the film and the actual scenes, then that's all left to myself really, and I kind of just go away and produce the music according to the film.
Yeah. Wow. Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, now, a very interesting question I'm going to ask you. Tell us about the most challenging part during the working on this project. I mean, from start to now that it's completed, released everything, everyone's listening to it, everyone's loving it. I mean, tell us the most challenging part of this project.
The challenging part is, I mean, there's a couple of tracks on here. I had done different versions. And because we're trying out a few things, because the thing is, it's like I'm having to sort of like work with the brief that they've given to me, and a couple of times the director wanted me to try the music in a different way for one of the tracks, and because he explained the whole thing to me, and I says, look, this is a direction you need to kind of go with it. So we played around a bit with the musical styles and stuff, and I think that's the challenging part really, to try and pinpoint exactly what's going to work and what's not going to work, because bearing in mind the film hasn't been shot, so it's a vision from the director's point of view, and then the vision from my point of view as a music director. So it all kind of has to work, and I think those are the challenging parts.
Wow.
Really, of a movie.
Some people may not have that kind of imagination or the creativity side of actually imagining or visualizing something what you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Bit like just drawing that picture in mind, that to visualize it as well at the same time. So that's quite this is why a lot of people who follow your music, it kind of reflects in your music itself. It just kind of draws a picture in your mind when you listen to your music. So that's
of course, it's very important to have a vision, especially when you're working for films and stuff. You've got to be able to have a vision, and then as a music producer, you've got to be able to portray that through audio, and everything in life. I mean, it's an experience, and you learn and you progress and stuff. So you could only get better the more you do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like towards the end of the conversation, I mean, we always have some form of questions that have come from your followers, your fans worldwide, and I've got Vinod Paliwal, he's a diehard follower of yours on social media. Vinod Paliwal
is a name that I'm very familiar with.
Yeah.
They've been supporting my music for many, many years, and I'm really thankful for them.
Wow.
To both brothers, Praveen and Vinod.
Wow, I mean, they're always sharing things, and they're always like, I'm always in conversation with them anyway. And they've asked a very interesting question, that why is Mukhtar Sahota's sound becoming less Western and more of a traditional Punjabi style? I mean, what do you want to say about this?
I think, sometimes it depends on the kind of songs that I'm working on. I don't deliberately go out my way to do a certain style. It just depends what lands, in my studio, basically. So, I mean, sometimes people will say to me, they'll send me a vocal if I'm working with an artist, and he's got an idea, and he'll say to me, I'd love for you to do something like you did on Jogi or Jugni, that heavy metal rock sound. And then I'll say, well, look, let me listen to the song, let's see which way it's going to go. You can't just, you can't pre-plan that, if you know what I mean. You can't sort of put a song together and say, this is the kind of style of music I want on it. Vocally, they have to deliver to that level in the first place for me to do rock or any kind of style of genre to the song. So I don't really plan on saying, well, look, I'm going to do the music, or this is a style of music I'm going to start working on, or this year I'm going to be doing this kind of style of music. It just depends on the song, really, for me. So, I never try to force a song a certain way just because I'm thinking it's about time I should be doing, like a club dance tune, or I should be doing a techno style song or whatnot. I don't force the music that way. It has to naturally flow. So if lately I've been doing, say, more sort of traditional style music, it's just one of them things that it's just naturally happened. It's not something that's I've pre-planned or anything.
Wow, fantastic. So that question was from Vinod Paliwal, so fantastic. So, I mean, talking about the music itself, I mean, you've worked with various artists from both nations, India and Pakistan. Arif Lahar, you've worked with various other artists. I mean, now that you're very collaborative with Pakistan-based artists, have you got any more artists planning you to work with from the Pakistani music scene?
Yeah, there's a couple of artists I'm in talks with at the moment, but nothing's confirmed.
Yeah.
So as soon as those artists are confirmed, then obviously I will share the information with yourselves. But yeah, I mean, I'm always up for working with new artists from all over the world, really. So, and there are a few artists like even from New Zealand, Australia, and stuff as well. So,
wow.
I'm in the middle of working on them songs at the moment.
Fantastic. I mean, everyone's actually intrigued. Even myself, we're really looking forward to the lineup for this year. You've already worked with a female artist recently, Sanita Majumdar. I mean,
yeah.
It's a new voice in the music scene, and fantastic.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I worked with her on Raja Brodia.
Yeah.
And that was a movie that was released last year. And as you are working with artists who are really talented and stuff, you get talking and thinking, well, look, what else can we do? And that's exactly what happened with Sunita. And we recorded 2 single tracks, and one, like you said, has been released. The Dun track that's been released, and I think that was a different project for myself as well, being a Hindi pop song.
Yeah.
Which we don't really get much of here in the UK. So
I've noticed that, yeah.
So I thought it'd be great to kind of give that a go, and let's see where that can kind of go, really.
Fantastic. I mean, end of the day, Mukhtar, you're known to be an innovative, creative, and experimental music producer for a while now. So whatever you do is fantastic work anyway.
No, thank you very much. I mean, the idea is, not everything's going to work and not everybody's going to love it. But the thing is, it's what keeps me going. It's what keeps me creative. Yeah. I'm not one of them producers that has like a formula and I just stick to that one formula and just keep going with it. I think that's playing it too safe in my books. I think you should always push yourselves, try new things. Doesn't matter if it's not going to work, but the thing is, it's one of them things, it's about being creative. It's not about being famous. It's not about, all them things. It's about, being in touch with what you love doing, and this is what I love doing, and it's all about the music.
Wow, you are fantastic. How about that? Lovely. I mean, absolute pleasure, Mukhtar. You took your quality time to be on the show today.
No, it's a pleasure. I mean, it's always a pleasure, doing an interview for yourself. And, I like to be able to do an interview where, you asking me certain questions and some challenging ones as well for me. Well,
that's what I'm known for.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so it's always nice that the presenter has taken his time out and actually done a bit of research and asking me some of these tough questions and stuff because it keeps me on my toes as well. Fantastic.
Absolute pleasure, Mukhtar. I mean, before we end the show, I mean, what message you want to give to your fans worldwide who are tuned in to Akash Radio right now with us?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much. I mean, I don't want to, pump. I mean, pump myself and talk about what I'm releasing next and everything.
Yeah.
I'm sure people will see all that, but I think, I think nowadays audience really need to kind of pay a bit more attention to certain tracks that are coming out. There's some really good music that's coming out that doesn't really get the attention.
Yeah.
There's so much music that's being released. I mean, sometimes even I miss some of the tracks that are coming out and stuff that people are releasing, and some really good music out there. And it just seems to be that the ones that are getting, the most likes or the hits, and people who are just throwing silly money at it and whatnot seem to be on top of all the YouTube lists and recommended and sponsored and everything. But I think there's some great, new artists coming out and musicians, producers and singers. And I think, they just do not get that exposure. And it's for us, the audience, the public, to be able to, push that forward and share it. And, I think, as an audience, it's our duty really, to, if you love music, to spread the word and introduce new talent and singers and people of the creative industry.
Yeah, about that. Fantastic, Mukhtar. Absolute pleasure to have you on the show today, and I'm hoping the very best for your future career. Which I don't need to
Thank
say
you.
that because you're a legend itself. You're a legend itself. So yeah,
No,
best of luck for your music.
Thanks
and
very
I'm
much.
hoping to have you in the studio next time. I've been waiting for a
definitely.
while now.
We did say last time as well, and we've ended up doing on the line conversation again. But next time I will come into the studio and I
was actually gutted that you were just 20 minutes away from me a few days ago.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was, and unfortunately, timings couldn't work out at the time. But we will definitely next time. We will definitely next time.
Absolute pleasure, Mukhtar.
And just one other thing before we go. Yeah, if everybody listening, please go and check out the movie Ishq, My Religion.
Definitely.
I went yesterday and I watched the movie for the first time in its entirety. And I'm sure your audiences will really enjoy this movie. It's different from other Punjabi films, so go check it out. It's in cinemas all over the UK.
Lovely. I'm looking forward to seeing it myself as well, because I bought the tickets now for tomorrow, so I am going to be going there to watch it definitely and support the movie. And especially to the listeners who are tuned in as well, from myself, a humble request to watch this movie. It's a completely revolutionizing movie for the Punjabi cinema. So fantastic. So Mukhtar, absolute pleasure, and hoping the very best for you.
Thank you very much, Raman. It's always a pleasure doing your interview.
Fantastic, lovely. So that was a live exclusive interview with the man himself, Mukhtar Sahota, talking about this musical production of Ishq, My Religion. Absolute pleasure that I had him on the show, and I'm hoping the very best of his career as well, because he's given a massive music, and he's a legend in himself because he's got a massive name, and his portfolio of music is just untouchable, I would say. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. I haven't got the words to say, but I'm really humbled that he's been on the show today, and hoping he'll be here in the studio one day. That's a dream come true for myself if that happens. And a big shout out to each and every one of you, the fans worldwide of Mukhtar Sahota as well, mentioning Vinod Paliwal and Praveen Paliwal, the diehard fans of Mukhtar Sahota, and a massive shout out to them boys. They're always on social media sharing a lot of work of Mukhtar's, and I'm really humbled that these boys are actually share things of myself as well. I mean, that's the biggest thing of my life, and a massive shout out to them boys.